Sitting in your house in quarantine, getting old fast and you're losing steam. Break out a piece of paper, crayons, and a pencil. Tune in Mr. Allison's YouTube channel. So kill me, but you don't bother me. Gonna make some art for everyone to see.
Hi, boys and girls, I'm up here. Hi. Boys and girls, I am so excited to start our second week talking about Leonardo da Vinci, and I know you want to get right back to work creating your Mona Lisa today, but I wanted to have a quick recap on what we learned last week, just a quick review. So I'll go through the PowerPoint very quickly. So boys and girls, we learned about Leonardo da Vinci. We learned that he was born in 1452. He died in 1519 when he's 67 years old, and he lived during the Renaissance period, back when Michelangelo lived, and they actually knew each other. Remember that when we talked about Michelangelo? This was a cool period of time during the Renaissance period when people started becoming much more civilized and interested in the arts and education and architecture. And we learned about his life, and we learned that we're creating some Da Vinci inspired artwork like the Mona Lisa that you can do. I know it's going to be fantastic. And we're answering the question, what makes Leonardo da Vinci such a great artist? We took a very close look at Leonardo da Vinci, and we found out who he was before the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. So we went way back in time to his early years. We learned that Leonardo da Vinci didn't actually have a last name. He was just Leonardo da Vinci, and Da Vinci means from Vinci, the town in Italy where he was born, and that was pretty interesting. We learned that he was very curious about the world around him, and he learned a lot just by paying close attention and studying things in detail. We learned that when he was 8 years old, he moved away from mom to go live with dad because she was very poor and dad had a lot of money and he was able to take care of him a little bit better. And we learned that dad, in fact, in the bottom of the screen, I gave him Dad of the Year award because his father was the one who recognized his talent and noticed how artistic he was and how skilled he was. And he got him an apprenticeship with a teacher, his teacher Verrocchio. Remember, Verrocchio was a very famous sculptor and artist at the time. And when Leonardo was just 14 years old, he went to learn from Verrocchio. And Verrocchio, 6 years later, let him in on a painting. He said, Leonardo, you are very talented, and I'm going to create this painting that I know is going to become very famous. And I would like you to have a small part in it. I would like you to paint the little angel, the bottom left there. See the little angel? On my painting of Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist. And that painting did become famous, and guess what? Everybody thought Leonardo's angel was the best part of the painting. So after that, Leonardo was seen by everybody as being highly gifted and talented. We learned about his interests in studying animals and humans, and with such fine detail, he would create all these sketches, and he really studied enough that he knew every part of the human body and of the animal bodies that he studied, that he could draw them with incredible detail. Such detail that his drawings are still used to illustrate anatomy today. So this is how he became so great. He used what he learned about the human body to paint masterpieces like the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. We took a close look at the Mona Lisa, and we discovered she's small. She's only 2.5 feet tall by 2 feet wide, and she is right now in the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. We learned that the Mona Lisa is painted on wood, poplar wood, and he painted it way back in 1507 when he was 55 years old. And we also learned, let's see, that he sold it, he kept it under his arm, he carried it everywhere he went for 10 years and kept it safe. He loved this painting, and he kept it until 2 years before his death, when he finally sold it to the King of France for 4,000 gold crowns. So we discovered that we don't actually know who the Mona Lisa is, right? We know Mona means Miss in Italian, so she's Miss Lisa. And they think she is Miss Lisa Gherardini Giocondo, the wife of a wealthy Italian man who they thought had asked Da Vinci to paint her portrait. We learned that wherever you stand, her eyes will follow you, and that's pretty cool and a little creepy maybe for some of you. And the background looks like a science fiction or fairy tale world where the horizon lines seem to be not matched up for some reason. Probably not a mistake. Oh, we learned that the Mona Lisa is the most valuable painting in the world. It's $700 million its value, and in 1911 the Mona Lisa was stolen from its home in the Louvre in Paris, France. And it was missing for 2 years before they caught the burglar or the thief who stole it, and it went right back to the Louvre. And for a while there, they thought Pablo Picasso may have stole it. Remember Pablo Picasso, who painted those paintings? Did he steal it? No. We talked a little bit about the Last Supper last week. It took Leonardo da Vinci 4 years to paint the Last Supper, and it's considered to be one of his greatest achievements. And this is of the Christian Bible story about Jesus and his 12 disciples as he announces that one of them will betray him. It's painted on a wall of a dining room used by monks in a church in Italy. And unfortunately, during 1815, during the Napoleonic War, soldiers used it as target practice. But it was safe. It was okay. They were able to fix it. It wasn't a big deal. However, in 1943, during World War II, a missile hit just next to that church and completely destroyed the ceiling and 3 of the 4 walls. Oh no. Thankfully, the one wall with Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper was left standing completely and miraculously intact. Yay! Here's some pictures where it's all boarded up because they knew the war was coming and they wanted to protect it. And there's a really good shot right there of the one wall. Truly, the only one wall standing completely intact is that one where it's all covered up, but the Last Supper is just behind that wall. What a miracle, huh? So we were noticing that there's so much more to talk about with Leonardo da Vinci, so I just quickly shared with you some of the highlights about the Vitruvian Man and his study on human proportions. That I let you know that he's a genius inventor, and he had dreamt up ideas for a catapult, machine gun landing gear, so much more, a helicopter, the parachute, which we're going to create as our next project. And we learned that when you combine arts with science, technology, engineering, and math, we call it STEAM. And we're going to be talking soon about the Da Vinci Code and mirror writing. And we now get to what we're doing today. The Mona Lisa. We're making our Mona Lisa. Oops. Where I'm giving you this paper on the left where her face, I'm giving you her face and hands, and you're just creating her body and the background and coloring it up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun because you're going to create this Mona Lisa, your Mona Lisa, as if you were Leonardo da Vinci today, as a kid, today. How would he paint it? So that's how you're gonna make your Mona Lisa. So think about the trends today, the clothing, the styles, the maybe sports or activities. Include that and make it meaningful to you in your Mona Lisa. I showed you some of my examples. There's some more examples I found on the internet. Just quickly flying through these. I know you've already seen them. Okay, and that's it. And we took a little quiz last week. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to let you right now get back to your Mona Lisa, and I can't wait to see your completed Mona Lisa by the end of the day today. Bye, boys and girls. Bye. Good.
Sitting in your house in quarantine, getting old fast and you're losing steam. Break out a piece of paper, crayons, and a pencil. Tune in Mr. Allison's YouTube channel. So COVID, you don't bother me. Gonna make some art for everyone to see.